All right, there we are. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream. So I'll be doing these every Tuesday afternoon, and it looks like it's going to be around noon Pacific Standard Time. And welcome. Well, while we're waiting for people to join us, let me put up my little intro here that I got. Dude, that thing kills me.
That's what's up, man. That's nice.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, and if you guys like what I do here, consider supporting me on Patreon. My Patreon link will be in the comments down below. I'm saving up for a laptop. I'll show it right here as well. Patreon.com/bowwowbills. And I think that's about it. Follow me on YouTube if you're not already. And thank you all, everybody who's supported me on Patreon and sent me super chats and different things on YouTube and on Facebook. It's really it's an honor to do this for you guys. And I was explaining to my buddy Calvin. First off, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I can't complain, man. Can't complain.
Calvin has one of the most important books, if you guys don't know, Understanding of Dog's Mind Through Survival and Comfort. This is a dude right here, and it's all about that survival and comfort right down here, man. It's definitely a great title for a book, and I recommend this for a lot of my clients. And as I was explaining to Calvin, I had to shave my beard off because I was cleaning up the property and we were having a little bonfire here, and I went and moved a piece of a log. I was trying to get it situated, and I had a big old, I didn't realize there was a fire behind the log or something, man, because next thing I know, I had a big old gust of flame come up and it singed all my beard hair. And so that's why I had to shave it. I miss my beard, man. I miss it. And I was very disappointed. And now I'm looking like my man Calvin, dude. You probably have a longer beard than I do, especially on your chin there.
Man, when I thought about how you was gonna look when you're older, man, your beard was touching the floor, man.
Yeah,
Now I got to reimagine it.
Yeah, now you've got me, but it's coming back strong. Like I'm going to, yeah, I have to. It's just what I do. I miss it. I miss like grabbing it and whatever.
Yeah.
So it's been a while, man. It's been a couple of years.
Journey, bro. Journey, bro.
Since then, you've written a couple more books, right? You've written a potty training one.
Yeah, potty training. I got the power feeding. And I just took down the formula. I had to take it down, man, because I'm about to use that in my educational material. And for me to post it out there and for me to, do what I did, man, I thought I was just going to make just, these books as it came. And I looked at the formula and I was like, wow, like this is real deal, like my system. So I took it down. But I am working on a new book, actually. So I'm finishing up my e-collar book. And then now I'm working on my new book. I still don't know what the title is going to be, but it's going to be about the inner world and the outer world of the dog. So
okay.
I had made a TikTok, and I posted on Instagram. But in the video, I was explaining how dogs go about their outer world and how the outer world influences everything. And then I made a comment about, I can go deep into the inner world, of the dog, but that's for another video. And then one morning I just woke up, man, and I was thinking, and I was like, man, I need to write about the inner world and the outer world of a dog. So that's going to be my next real project that I really, push out there.
Do you know who Groucho Marx is? Have you ever heard of that guy?
Mm-mm.
So he's he's an old comedian, and he's used to have a cigar, and here, let me see if I can find a picture of him so I can educate this young man here. Yeah, he was a Groucho Marx. Let's see, Groucho Marx. Here he is right here. So this is what he looked like. I'll share my screen here. And Yeah, that's what he looks like right here. You never seen this guy?
No.
Dude, I'm so old. I'm so old. But the reason why I bring him up is Groucho Marx used to have a quote that says, outside of a dog, a book is a man's best friend. And inside of a dog, it's too dark to read.
Very true.
Outer inner world of a dog. That's where my mind goes, man. Is that quote by Groucho Marx? So I had to. That's inside of a dog. It's just too dark to read. So
Yeah. I mean, it all boils down to like what makes up their existence, right? Like what makes, like, yes, survival and comfort was most definitely like the theory that I ran with, and it's I still learn from it till today, you know.
yeah,
But it just promoted, man, like all of these ideas and all of this, like even now while I'm working with dogs or talking to people and stuff like that, I just feel like that, you know, there's always deeper understanding out there, and I feel like that, you know, with this go round, you know, with where I'm at in my career, where I'm at in life, I'll be able to do survival and comfort a lot of justice by doing, by, you know, creating, making, writing, uh, whatever this title gonna be, man. We don't know yet, but it's gonna end up saying something about inner world and outer world. So yeah, man, I'm excited for it.
Well, and just so you guys know, like when I go through, I just realized that I've like highlighted. You know, this is how I know a book is really good, because then I'm going through and actually highlighting the different stuff that I'm reading here. You know, I don't do that with every book, man, but you know, I did it with this book because there's a lot of great points, man. There's a lot of ways that as people that train with pet dogs, I'm always looking for ways to put things in analogies, ways that different people explain how this dog thinks. And the biggest issue that I see is people putting their own characteristics on the animal. And we have to understand that's incorrect. I mean, we're human beings and we're communicating with other human beings, but we have to learn a way to see the world through the dog's eyes, to become the dog essentially by proxy. And to do that, we have to look, like you said, I think it's a good idea, the outer world and the inner world, what's happening out here. And more importantly, how is that dog perceiving that?
Exactly. And when you change the clients or the people's perspective of how they should view the dog, I've seen relationships go from a 0 where they just have a happy dog to like out of 10, like a 12. Changing their perception of how they view their dog. And then once they change their perception of their dog and start to go about their life the way that they should, then later on in their relationship, they start to see the similarities as of two people by teaching and treating that dog like a dog.
Yeah. Well, and it opens up the lines of communication, and it becomes a relationship that's built on appreciation, trust, love, understanding. All that stuff just happens to start to blossom, because you know this dog on a deeper level, and the dog starts to appreciate the fact that you know them.
Exactly.
Right,
Exactly.
right, and they like that, man. If you have somebody that knows and loves you, and they do something for you, it's just like my beautiful wife. You know, we've been married going on over 20 years now, and she knows me.
Yeah.
And she knows what I like, what I don't like, and provides that for me, and I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that happens. And I'm not saying, you know, it's like my wife's, or I'm not comparing it necessarily to a relationship of a dog. I'm just using the analogy of that appreciation that I have for somebody that has taken the time to understand my wants, needs, and desires. And it's very similar to that with any animal as well. They have wants, needs, and desires that are important to that individual animal, as your wants, needs, and desires are to you.
Oh yeah. I tell people that by us being human, we can meet somebody for the first time and we can communicate effectively because we understand what all of our needs, desires, and everything is. When you run into people that have problem with dogs and they love these dogs and the dog don't necessarily show or display that love back in the manner of the of being obedient, being respectful, I tell that person is that it's because they're speaking two different languages.
Hmm.
You know, you can approach a person that has a different language and don't try to take into consideration that they may not speak your language, and y'all can have the worst energy towards each other ever, you know. But just by being people and being understanding, even if you don't speak the same language, you still can get your point across. And without with the viewpoint of understanding, and when you're approaching even another creature through the lens of what they perceive life as, they're going to accept you. They're just going to accept you. I've seen dogs that people would tell me, they say, well, this dog is bitten 5 people, or this dog is just the worst dog ever, and you're my last option, etc. And then I go or I meet the dog, and the dog does not display any of those behaviors. And it's not that I did anything like drastic or grab the leash or whatever. It was the respect that I gave the dog right off the rip that showed that dog that I knew something about it and I wasn't pushing boundaries, and I was still able to communicate with the owner while talking to them about the dog. And the whole time they're sitting there like, wow, he didn't try to lunge at you, or wow, you was able to grab the leash, and wow, why is it that, most people he gets aggressive or she gets aggressive, but she or he not getting aggressive towards you. And I have to explain to them is that in my book, man, in the book is called The Energy of Others. The energy. So um in that I explain, the energy that people give dogs, by automatically being too excited with the dog, which is a reactive dog, a person that knows that the dog is reactive, but trying to come straight off to that dog and telling the dog that everything is okay, but the dog don't know what words mean, right? So the dog gets very uncomfortable and the dog lashes out. But the person in their mind is treating it like as if it's a person and
Hmm.
trying to show that dog a person's um, approach, and the dog gets uncomfortable. But if I meet a dog and I don't give it the energy, or I don't give it the static look, and I am relaxed, and I'm almost giving it the same energy as a tree. I ask people, I say, why don't your dog want to go and bite that tree right there? And they say, well, I don't know. I said, because that tree not giving it negative energy. That tree is just there. The dog knows that it don't make sense to go after that tree because that tree isn't giving off any negative energy. So I treat the dog in a way to where I can be or get closer to it as the conversation go with me and the client, and I get to a point to where I'm able to grab the leash, I'm able to touch the dog, etc., by viewing the dog's perspective of what's going on in the situation.
Yeah, you become neutral, right? Where it's not the active participant. And I get that people put their own perceptions on dogs, and they want to approach the dog in a manner that they understand things, because it's easier to overlay our own perception. But when that's interrupted by a bite, a growl, or something like that, where the dog is kind of communicating. Same thing with the person. Like if I were to come up to you and try to shake your hand, you were to smack it away, right? That would totally change the dynamic of our relationship in that moment, because I'd be like, what's up, man? You got a problem? Or something like that, where Same thing with the dog is they're communicating their apprehension towards the way that you're trying to communicate to them, or the style that you're trying to communicate. And I just put up a link to all your books in the comments, so you guys want to check out Calvin's books, there they are. And Calvin, we just got started into this, but I didn't ask you. Would you mind just telling people who you are and where you come from? And since we're buddies, we talk a few times before, and I mean, we just kind of pick up where we left off. Where, or tell people where you're located and what you do and everything, real quick, okay?
Okay. Well, I'm Calvin Wilbon. I am located in Little Rock, Arkansas, actually a little bit outside of Little Rock. It's a little town called Wrightsville. Is actually where I grew up at. The dog industry and claiming a specific lane is kind of hard for me because I'm just interested in the everything about a dog. I'm not necessarily just like 100% sport dog, 100% working dog, 100% pet dog, 100% service dog. I'm kind of in the mix of it all. I feel like that my material, what I hope to do with my material is reach anybody and everybody that's in any lane when it comes to the dog industry. My social media is on Instagram is Calvin L. Wilbon. And of course, I got TikTok, which is Dance with Dogs, and then YouTube and stuff like that. And if you just Google my name, you'll be able to find me. Outside of that, I go by the term. I go by the. How can I put it? I tell clients in layman terms, I'm a dog trainer, but I am a dog communicator, human educator. That is the title that I'm sticking to.
Dog communicator, human educator.
Yes,
I tell
sir.
people that too, man. And then whenever I work with the dogs, man, I let them know, or the people know, I speak dog. I speak this dog's language like this. So that's how I'm able to grab this leash. That's how this dog is responding to me. And now the point is to get you to learn this, to get you to understand how to approach this, because you're paying me money. You're taking out some of your hard-earned cash from your wallet, asking me to help you with the situation that's going on, and it's my obligation to tell you the truth. And sometimes, we talk about sometimes the truth is a little bit brutal for people to hear, especially if they have a totally misconception of the relationship.
Yeah, and what's here recently, I've been listening to more of like the client's perspective of their relationship with their dogs. And you got to think, for one. If you're not thinking, then you're not going to grow at all. But I take time to myself, man, and I think about the things that people are saying to me. I think about the things that people are having problems with. And I've really been hearing lately that the way that the people feel about their dogs, and this is just what gets through, this is not what they're saying, okay? What people have been saying about their dogs and the things that they really believe in and how they treat their dogs, just because it appeases their soul to treat the dog a specific way, just because they're in the now, they don't, and I hate to say it like this, but they're not necessarily worried about the future and how that dog is going to end up, developing later on. I had a person tell me that, their dog is their, child, and the way that they treat their dog, and it was a lot of things that I was educating them on. But the sad thing is that me knowing the direction that the dog was going or can go, the person still just was like, this is just the way that I'm going to treat them because I love them so much. But then I see that dog, I don't never see like like the tomorrow. I see like years down the line. I'm always visualizing, bro, and I see that dog can't cope with life, you know, forbid if they have to go somewhere, you know. And I know that that's a touchy subject, bro, but you know, some of this stuff, that's the reason why, man, I push so hard, man, to get information out there, man. Like I either through my statuses, through my videos, through something, man, like I have to be an influence because, man, like the perception is big when it comes to the person and and then too, if you think about it, you know, dogs are man's best friend because dogs are going to show through their actions, you know, their comfort for their owners and stuff like that. But man, you know, the deeper you go, man, the more it, you know, got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, well, it's heartbreaking when you see the sacrifice that these dogs make to satisfy our selfish indulgences, right? Where you want to come in, and I tell people I represent the animal, I represent their best interests, even though we're both human beings, and or the whole family, we're all human beings, and we communicate. I can stand right here, just like the tree, and talk to you through this device. My dogs, I wonder what the heck they're thinking every time I do these live streams. You know, they're sitting here at my feet, and they just know that I stand here in the corner of this room.
Like this dude weird.
Yeah, man. They just, and I'm looking down, he's looking back at me like, is it time to go? But but if he looks out this window, I have a window right next to me here, and he sits on the back of this chair. He loves to just look out that window, man. But we communicate. My point is that we can just sit here perfectly still for hours on end, using our vocal tonation and the words and grammar that we use, the rules of speaking and language, to convey a vast variety of abstract ideas. And these dogs, God bless them, they're one of the most forgiving creatures as well. And that's why I make sure that I qualify the clients, because it is heartbreaking, dude. It is heartbreaking when you got somebody that thinks that they know what they're doing, and they hired you because some part of the relationship has gone off into the ditch. And like I was saying earlier, we owe them the truth. And so when we come in and we deliver the truth, and they're either not ready to hear it, or they don't want to hear it because it screws up the indulgences that they receive from the desire that they have with the relationship that they perceive with this animal, that this animal is reliant on them or worships them in a way, I guess. I don't know. But every time they open that door, that dog is trying to bolt out of there, or doing something that is, or guarding them, right? And I have to remind them, like, this isn't guarding. This is fear. This is, the dog has accumulated a bunch of experiences that have taught him that the best way to
Comfort.
you're right, how to receive comfort. And a lot of times too, it's like it becomes a stress response for that animal, where they become reactive, or they work on communicating in a number of different ways incrementally with like running away at first. The person brings them back with their body language, head hunkered, tail down. Person tries to engage with them even more, and the dog's communicating, hey, I'm not comfortable, I'm not comfortable, I'm not comfortable, I'm not comfortable. And then it reaches this level where the dog finally bites, the person leaves them alone, and the dog's like, aha.
Yes, exactly what I do. I was about to tell you about this, man. So for one, so like the survival and comfort aspect, I tell people survival is basically like eat or be eaten. Now that some situation that's like drastic, right? But survival, when you think about survival in a dog's mind, they're saying, am I going to eat? Am I the predator, or am I going to be eaten? Am I the prey in this situation? Okay. Comfort is the ability to make the decision, which is their thinking faculty that says, I need to make a decision based off of comfort or discomfort. If it's comfort, I stick with it. If it's discomfort, I do something about it, right?
Right.
So this lady asked me, she said, and I think it was like a TikTok question on one of my videos. She said, my dog growls, but he haven't bitten anybody. Do you think that he'll ever bite someone in the future? And I say yes. I said for the simple fact that he's growling because he's feel like that his survival is at stake, and his growls work right now. But the more he gets, or the better he gets in his growls, and he start to realize that they're not doing anything, then it's going to follow up with a bite, because he's going to have to try something different in order to change the circumstance.
Hmm.
So I always break it down in those aspects. It's like, you know, if you see my dog and we're out in public and the way that he looks, his tail is up, his ears is up, he's, he checks in with me, he's doing this. 9 times out of 10, he's a predator. That doesn't mean that he's out to go looking for a bite or XYZ. He's looking for the environment to show him something that I've paired with a positive in his past. It could be a loud noise that happens, and I see him in the store, something go boom or something, and then he'll turn and face me and just be wagging his tail like, yeah, this is the notification that I'm going to get something. Or if somebody steps on him, or we're, and I'm visualizing Sanders Ace Hardware, we go there a lot. I have him in a down or something, and somebody not paying attention, they might step on his tail and he doesn't react. But when they step on his tail, he looks at me and he's like, he's like happy, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, is this gonna get me paid in some form of fashion? So predator state of mind is different than prey state of mind, no matter what you compare it to. And then, like I say, the comfort aspect is just the decision making mechanism that they have going on in their mind. So a lot of people, when they want it to be simplistic, and when I change that perception, it helps a lot of people.
Hmm.
I've noticed that it helps a lot of people.
Well, and not only that, but it's like it helps that dog too. I mean, and I teach people, like, when we train this dog, when something like that happens, when we encounter chaos or whatever, I want that dog to trust and to know me. And eventually, when we start to, take them into public places and we encounter different things, like other people, other dogs, I want them to refer back to me instead of always taking upon them to encounter or to uh, handle a situation. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
you almost got to be the best gatekeeper on earth for that dog.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm trying to find this photo that I was looking at here that is a different incremental. Here, let me see. Dog warning before bite. Because I think it's important. I think it's important to. Okay, this one, aggression ladder. I've never seen this one, but let's see if this one, if I can pull this one up here. No, well, whatever. Here, I'll see if I can zoom in. I just don't get a good copy of these but here, I'll do this anyway. So, yawning, blinking, nose licking, turning away, turning body away, sitting, pawing, walking away, creeping, ears back, standing crouched, tail tucked under, lying down, leg up, stiffening up, staring. And then look when we get into the red zone, right? Growling, snapping, biting,
Mm-hmm.
right? And a lot of times, and this is what I talk about when I do some safety courses for elementary schools, man. And I have to, to educate them about this stuff. And like, if a dog walks under a table, and walking away from you, don't go under that table. Like, there's certain things, right, that this dog is communicating. Hey, I'm not comfortable with you. We get called a lot of times, most of the time, when the dog is up in the red.
Yeah.
Biting, snapping, and growling as professionals. And we have to remind the person that this dog has been trying to communicate in every single step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ways this dog has communicated before we've gotten to this point of growling, snapping, and biting. And it's my goal to teach these people how to interpret their individual dog. And it's interesting because my dog, when you pet him, like especially my guy down here, he'll put his leg up when you pet him, right? And it's a good, he likes it. It's something that I done, and he's very comfortable with me. And so it's even though we have these rules, it's important to know the dog that you're working with at that time, right? And just like your mouths, right? Dogs that might be a little bit drivey. And we were talking with Will from Dog Training is My Passion last week, and he has 5 Malinois, and we were talking about how different the spectrum of Malinois can be. That we can have a total teddy bear, or we can have a straight cold killer, a no joke Malinois, dude. And I've seen them. I've seen dogs that would want to chew me up, rather than play with me. And it's important to know what you're working with and how to recognize what you're working with as a professional, and that comes through thousands of dogs, hundreds and thousands of dogs that you work with. And that's when people ask me if they want to shadow or if I want to take an apprentice. First thing I do.
For a second.
Can you hear me now? Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. I tell my apprentices, hey, go to the pound, go to the rescue, get your hands on as many dogs, touch 100 dogs, man, and then come back to me.
I will say that has been a huge blessing in my career, is the amount of dogs that I've been able to see and witness. Huge blessing, because say it again.
I said the people aspect is easy, and I used to bartend, so I've worked with and spoken with a lot of people, right? And so it's important too that we have not just an eclectic knowledge base on how to communicate with people, but also have an eclectic knowledge base of how to read the dog.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had dogs where I think I've read it right away. I'm like, okay, cool, this dog's cool with me, and the dog shows me right away that I'm not right, that I'm incorrect. And we have to be able to pivot when that dog shows us, hey, look, or the dog is comfortable. The comfort of that dog, like you say in your book, is only until something else happens, man. Like once we cross that line, that comfort can be taken away, right? I mean, pretty quickly as well with any action that we have, and we have to be able to pivot. That dog is going to pivot as well until they have enough experience with us to trust us.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Cool, man. And it's basically, the comfort and then the survival aspect too. Like I think whenever I hear survival, I think of being lost in the woods.
That's a good picture to paint at how they think sometimes.
What do you mean?
So like survival, right? So like when I say eat or be eaten, you're in the middle of the woods and you don't know what's gonna come from any direction. You're moving on this path and you just hope to just make it, right? But to a dog is the making it aspect is getting to a form of consistency. That's the way I look at it. Being in the woods is eat or be eaten. Everything is is not familiar to you, but through repetition, through being around, you can kind of get to a point to where, or in the dog's mind, they get to a point to where they can start to predict the things that's going to happen. And the light at the end of the tunnel is the consistency and them keeping their survival. So in my mind, I say that is a good example, because once again, even though the dog in itself, see, and that's another thing that I've learned too. A lot of people may take things that I say, or they might see things, or they might hear things, whatever, and they like, this don't make sense because of XYZ. And what I've learned is that you want to talk in universal terms when it comes to the dog. You know what I'm saying? It can't be no one-sided type of situation, because anything is possible, anything can or may happen when it comes to the way that this dog is thinking. Therefore, if you approach a situation from a dog's perception in a universal term like that, like being in the wilderness, you know what I'm saying, survival aspect, you know, you can add anything. Add a damn fire hydrant if you want to. You know what I'm saying? Until that fire hydrant shows that dog that it's not just gonna blast off with water, then the dog is able to walk past that fire hydrant. You know, through repetition, dog is like, okay, this isn't projecting no energy. This is a good thing, or a thing that's not going to dictate my survival. This thing that was uncomfortable now is comfortable. Now I'm comfortable with it, for the simple fact that I know exactly what this thing is going to do. That's consistency. I've seen it over and over. I know for a fact that it's not going to kill me. Boom, I'm done.
Yeah. Well, it's also the dogs are belonging to the human world. And there's so many contraptions that we have that we just take for granted, right?
Contraptions, yeah.
Yeah. Contraptions. That's your funny, bro.
I like that.
Contraption. I got to see what that means now. I mean, I know. I mean, it's contraptions. What the definition of contraptions are, but I mean, basically inventions or devices or like, you're making me contraptions.
Yeah, we made this, man. We created this world, man, and we just
dude. It's a good.
To be.
It's actually a good word to say. Hey, look, man. Let me put this on here. So contraption is, look at this, bro. A machine or device that appears strange or unnecessarily complicated and awfully badly made or unsafe. And so when a dog walks up and it looks like it's something that's unsafe, right?
Exactly. You know what they do? If they are curious about it, they're gonna keep their feet planted as far as possible so they can get on that if they need to. They're gonna reach out, stretch their neck to look, just to sniff. And then look, if they accidentally touch it, they might jump back and growl at it, but through repetition, they find out like, oh, it's just that thing right there.
Right.
But yeah, man, contraptions. I like that.
Yeah, contraption appears strange, right? And it's basically to that dog, man. They don't know what this thing is, and it can be. Oh my goodness, let me find this video. But it can be a bus, it can be a skateboard, it can be you know, all that. You know, there's so many things that this dog is going to encounter, man. Like, and this is what it reminds me of, dude. It's like, let me show you this. Hold on, let me zoom in on this sucker here so we can see. But let me share this one with you, okay? Here. You ready?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's the that's the look.
It's a plastic bag, dude.
Yeah.
You know, we know it's safe, and so we're letting the dog encounter it. But that dog has no clue, man.
That's right on time.
Isn't that cool, though? Like, to me, I mean, but my clients, what they want to do is they want to be like, it's okay, instead of looking at this and watching it and just being fascinated by those little jerks, and then people, when the video continues, and you don't really see it here because this is on a short, that dog prances around with that sucker, completely confident, man.
Yeah, buddy.
You know, and so it's like, and that's where we get to, is like, let the dog do. Hold on, let me see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can find a longer version where this dog actually. Yeah, here it is. Oh no, wait, this is a different one, man. Okay, cool, man. Let's do this. Like, I just like, and one of the things that is very important for us to do here is to just observe, man. You know, and I've never seen this video, but let's put it on, dude. All right, so Dog scared of plastic bag. Look at, and people might look at that wagging tail, but immediately the dog starts backing up. Whoops. I don't know who this guy is, but got a little promotion from us. But that's it. Is to what's so cool about these videos is that we can back them up, we can slow them down, and that's why whenever I do Zoom calls, whenever my clients have a problem with the dog, I want them to videotape it. Right? And if you guys are working with somebody, videotape the behavior that you need help with. We have all these devices that make it super easy to do. Capture it, because we can go through that. And that's the way that I see this type of stuff is in split seconds, man. And it's very helpful, because when that dog was wagging here, let me see if I can do this here. I'll just do it with on the oh, this is TikTok. Weird. Hold on, I'll see if I can do it where we can just have it back and forth here without zoomed in on this guy. The game. How many TikTok followers do you have now?
Man, I don't know. It's like 200 something thousand.
Yeah, that's an accomplishment, dude. All right, so right here, can you see it okay, Calvin?
Yeah, well, yes.
So right there. So dog is voicing uncertainty. And watch what he's doing with his little paws. Backing up. Right, so first off, he only gets to a certain distance with that.
So he never liked it. They said that he's scared of it. Of course, he has some discomfort. But you know what that looks like?
What's that?
It looks like the job of a like the ones that boar hunt, and not the catch dogs, but I think the bay dogs, the dogs that bay up the pig.
Oh yeah.
They're wagging their tail, but they wagging their tail, but they know that joker dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. I'm still the Malinois is the best, man, because he's such a dramatic dog, and some of this stuff can be dramatic. Here, let me see if I can. Dog scared. And this is what we're helping with when this grandma's about to. Man, now I'm watching all these different, or looking at all these videos here. But I also get gotten copyright strikes from some of these, so I'm making sure not to post up. But yeah, no, I'm not going to play any of these, dude. Like, I'm looking at a lot of them, and they're just dogs being scared. It's not really valuable for us. But just look at that bag video that I posted earlier, that Malinois reaching out, shaking, and then he grabs it, and then it prances it around. Once he realizes that this is no threat, that's what I was saying. Like, their behavior, their comfort can sway, and they can go from being comfortable to discomfort just like that. But guess what? It can happen the other way too, man. They can go from discomfort to comfort. Right? Just like when that dog grabbed that bag and he's comfort prancing around. It's important to realize that can happen a split second as well. So yeah, if you have any other videos or anything that you think of, let me know, and I'm going to see if I can find more as well. So what's in the future, man? What's happening with you? What's happening with First Mind Canine? I put up a link to, and that's on your shirt there too. Oh, here we go, man. This looks like a good one. So this one is one that I haven't seen either. But while I'm pulling this up, what's in the future for you, bro? What's
Man, I'm getting back in the sport realm. I think in the past I've competed a lot, but I never was in a comfortable state. Not saying I want to be in a comfortable situation, but I'm just saying, like, I've never just been like put together and then did sports. Like, I still did good in sports, not being in a put together state of mind, lifestyle, etc. But now I feel like that it's time. I've developed more of a business sense. I've developed my mental stuff like that, so I'm really ready to get back out there on that field. So I'll be doing sport. I'm starting a new venture, business wise, um, creating a dog school.
Okay.
That's gonna be really, really, really big. And that's a blessing. And then my online endeavors. I've been doing online schooling, which is it's a beautiful thing because for the things that I know and the way that I explain it to people, etc., it's just best to it's the internet is like you could tap into like infinite storage space, I guess, where you can put your classes and stuff. And for all the dog trainers that's out there, man, most definitely do that. Get to a point to where you can, you know, document things and put it out on a platform that, for your services. Because I think that dogs and dog people should have access to you, especially when you start to grow a name, even if they cannot physically be in front of you. So that realm, man, I've been trying to figure that out for a minute, man, and I finally got enough information and through repetition and through my learning, figured out how to do that. So just getting that all the way up to par, getting my the books out, and yeah, man, I just kind of became addicted to just these goals, man. These goals, putting out everything that I know about dogs and the things that I'm constantly learning and what helps me continue to elevate and go in a certain direction. I'm putting it in a form to where I can, what I'm saying, give it out, to the masses. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's
why. Whoops. Sorry, dog. I just stepped on my dog. That's like the formula, right? You pulled that back to refine it and to put it in a way that it's going to be much more um, available for your students. And so then when they have questions about it, they can come and refer back to you, I assume, right?
oh yeah, for sure, for
How old
sure.
are you now, Calvin?
29.
Phew, not even 30 years old, my man.
It's right around the corner.
Well, I mean, you've done quite a bit in your young age, man. So I know that you will accomplish this stuff, and I just want to encourage you to keep going forward, keep marching to the beat of your own drum. And people, as somebody that's 50, that's almost 50, I'm 47 now. That to see the advent of the internet, see this technology, um, and that's one of the goals that I have is to utilize some of this technology to capture the voices of both the young and the old and the OGs in the dog training realm. And that's why I want to take this on the road so I can um, do these podcasts with some of the older guys that might not be so versed with operating or even want to set up one of these live streams with me, that I can go set it up for them. All they need to do is just sit down and chat with me. Um, and that's what I'm working on now. But people that say that online training does not work, I think that once the pandemic hit, a lot of people changed their tune, because it absolutely does work.
It does.
And yeah, and you have a deeper access. You have many different facets of learning with people, and then you can also do the online. I mean, excuse me, the in-person events as well to subsidize for what they might not always get in the online stuff.
I had a conversation with a young lady that told me, because I reach out to the people that then picked up my online course, and I haven't had many questions, but I've had many people that bought it, right? So I started reaching out to people, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like please say something, right? And the majority of them basically said that they're enjoying it, the way that I put everything is very like, it's advanced but basic to the ear. And it was what did she say? She was just like, she's never, one of them has said that she's never heard it in terms of, which is a part of my formula, which is TSCT. It's the, I say, it's a lot of teachings out there, but it's, to me, it's the understanding of teaching a dog how to really understand behavior.
Hmm.
So it goes teach behavior. That's a whole phase. How to teach behavior. Then strengthen behavior, which is how to strengthen that behavior. Then condition behavior, which is your practice phase. And then last but not least is the last T, is the testing. So everybody that I contacted, it almost made me seem dumb in a sense, because it's like, don't you know what you put out there? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I have any questions when this, that, and the other that you've explained, etc. It was a fresher, it was a fresh breather for me to have gone for a little time without talking to anybody about the program, and for people that I've been able to reach out to, been telling me that it's self-paced, they understand, and if they have any questions, they're gonna let me know. But
Yeah.
it's just a simple fact of that timeline from teaching to testing, because I feel like that a lot of people that have problems, and you can vouch for this, a lot of people then taught their dogs behaviors, but then they skip a lot of things and they go into trying to test the behavior. And I give that sequence of teaching, strengthening, conditioning, and then testing. And I show them exactly what that looks like for each phase. And I've had people actually tell me, like, I don't have to talk to you. And I felt good about it. We laugh about it a little bit, but yeah.
It provides a thorough understanding of what you need to do here to get from step one, step
Hmm.
two, step three, step four, step five, right? Instead of going from step one to step 15
Yeah.
and then step 17, step 22, and then you encounter a problem in the world and it all falls apart because it's not incrementally built to withstand the challenges that we're going to face by taking our dog out in a world where they're going to encounter chaos at some moment, right? I like it. I mean, the teach aspect, and especially the strengthening, right? And so for instance, I would teach like a puppy how to come, and I'll utilize treats or whatever, right? Put some value behind that, and then I'll start phasing that out to help strengthen it. Then I'll start doing it in different areas to help condition it, and then I'm gonna test that dog with some pretty big distractions. Am I on the right track here, Calvin?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It's teaching the puppy what the picture looks like. What does the image looks like? Then getting that puppy to understand that this image that you've been able to make out, let's put it in different scenarios, situations. Let's make your brain think a little bit more about how to get to this result if this challenge is in front of you. So we have to strengthen this behavior to a degree to where you can do it. It's just like it's like a kid that learns to sit in a chair, but then there's a step, like going like stairs. But then like the kid also realized that even though that they see that people are walking upstairs, they can also sit on that step. You know what I'm saying? It's still the behavior of sitting, but the brain haven't been able to make the association that I can also utilize this in this manner. It's almost taking what's been created and then reversing it and being a creator. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So for the puppy, it's the exact same way. You show the behavior, but then I'm going to give you different exercises. I'm going to give you different situations, scenarios, to where now we have to strengthen this behavior. We might use a different tool, we might use whatever, but we strengthen this behavior. Once I understand it, once the puppy understands all of these behaviors through the teaching phase, then they strengthen all of these behaviors through the strengthening phase. Then we can go on to how do we practice? How do we keep this going? How do we make how practice makes they say practice don't make perfect. It makes progression, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how to continue to progress in this area to a point to where if you see something new and you feel or you hear the command, then therefore your body responds because you've noticed that something new can be thrown at you, which will bleed you off into the testing phase. And in the
Okay.
testing phase is where you're able to actually, you know, be able to know that your dog is safe enough with the directions that you've given it and understanding of the behaviors to where they can be successful.
Well, and introduce the different variables of training: distance, distraction, duration, location, and the testing phase. And then with the image phase at the very beginning, to me, that is, I mean, especially when I'm working with families, right? I'm like, look, the command has to be the same. We want to show the dog the same image. So everybody utilize the same command. We're telling the dog to come. I don't want one person being like here and one person being come and another person being like get over here or whatever, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
important that we define what the image is. And then we look at vocal tonation, we look at intense vocal intensity, and then we have commands, right? That translate to body language for us, right? So I have a cue that I give the dog when I want him to come, and then I give the dog a cue when I want him to stay, and I pair that with my voice command. Sometimes it's with my movement, and then it's also um, with body language command, right? And showing that dog over and over and over this image. This is this image. Here's the image here. Here's the image here. Here's the image here, right? And so that dog. So that's strengthening. So first off, is teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Teaching. I'm teaching my dogs. No, it's
Strengthening. we
teaching the
teaching.
dog, and
We
then we
teaching over
strengthen it.
here.
Yeah, I need to come down to Arkansas with you, man.
We
Um,
teaching him.
we teaching in. I've been down in Arkansas, down south, teaching in with my buddy Calvin. And then we strengthen, but with the understanding of what this image is. And let me show you it. Let me show you the image here. Let me show you the image again. Let me show you the image again. And then the dog's like, okay, I got that image. I know exactly what that means. Then we start the conditioning of now we're starting to introduce different environments, and we're still we're very forgiving to that dog.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna put on your air conditioning or something?
Oh yeah, I got to.
Okay, do it. And so then we start conditioning. We're still forgiving, and then we start to test, and then that's when corrections come in, right? When we start to test that dog, because now, dude, you've shown me through the teaching aspect, you've shown me through the strengthening aspect, you've shown me through the conditioning aspect. Now it's time that I'm going to test you.
So I actually, man, from dog trainer to dog trainer, I'm going to use the word correction. From dog trainer to client, I'm going to use the word redirection.
Okay.
And I like to, and that's what my e-collar book, and I promise you, it's almost done. It's not a. I have to look at the title of that one too. I think it's like it's not a correction tool. It's a direction tool or turning. I think it's called turning correction into direction or redirection.
Okay.
Correction, redirection. So yeah, I tell people because when you get a client, especially one that there's a lot of different type of people out here, but when you put the person in a state of mind of a correction, it's different. Either they take that and able to use that, and they may be a little bit heavy-handed, or they'll take that, or they may say, "I don't want to ever do that." So I've been able to transform the word correction to redirection. So I tell people like, what is the opposite of biting? They say not biting. Okay, so the redirection of one thing or the direction of one thing can be redirected to the opposite, right? So like the law of polarity. So if the dog is in the trash, what's the opposite of being in the trash? Out of the trash. So the dog went into this direction, boom, going into the trash, being able to utilize your equipment, redirect behavior. So if the dog is if you want the dog to do a behavior, right? And then the dog doesn't do that behavior, whatever behavior that they're doing, they're still in a specific mind frame, which is a direction. Redirect to get the dog to doing what you want it to do. So just from clients, man, I've seen that switch be very like it switches to where the person is very acceptive. Either they can be heavy-handed, or the one that don't even want to correct their dog. I've seen that change their thought process and been able to be successful.
I like it too, man. I'll use it too. Redirection, because the redirection actually is a step towards the correction, right? Because then when we redirect, redirect, then we'll correct. And just because we're preparing that dog, hey man, I'm showing you what to do. I'm showing you what to do. You're, and even with, what I like that redirection, right? Because then we're giving the dog opportunities, and in that testing phase, we're testing if they know what to do, and they're showing us because they're either breaking the command, or maybe the distraction is too strong for them, and so then we redirect, but then we redirect in a way that maybe we mitigate whatever's making them uncomfortable, and then yeah, I like that, man. I'll have to sit and ponder this for a second too.
I still say strong redirection to take the place of correction.
Okay.
The dog understands the equipment, and so let's say a dog that's reactive, right? And we're talking about like an offensive reaction, right? And for one, that dog shouldn't be at the testing phase. But let's say if it is at the testing phase and that dog goes to react, and then the dog takes either stimulation or leash pressure, whatever, and that dog is able to get back to where it's about you or go back into a down. So you just redirect. So I've seen this with dogs, is that if you do something or if they're unsuccessful at something, the dog will comply. They say that doesn't work. So yes, I wanted to get in the trash a million times. That's where in the book, my 100 to 101 rule is that if a dog shows you that they're going to do something 100 times, you're there 101 times to let them know that that thing doesn't work. Then through repetition. So this is another thing I tell people, is that 100 to 101 rule, because if you go straight off into like the correction, that dog haven't really reached that meter. So there's a meter in a dog's mind for everything. So that meter might be from 0 to 100, right? But if that dog goes to do something or wants to explore something and you corrected them at 25, then when that dog gets some leeway and you see that dog does that same behavior again, and they just like, I didn't get no correction for it, but I have more curiosity. Now they're at a 50 and you're just like, man, I corrected you for that, man. You should know better. So then then they get more curious, like, oh, that correction was last week. They get more curious. Now it baffles you because the dog haven't never reached that. What's up, man? What's up? I see my guy Bishop. So that guy never reaches, that dog never reaches that 100%. That dog still have that left in the tank of its curiosity, the thing that they want to do. You know what I'm saying? So I say that dog has to witness that full meter, and they have to go that 100 time. But if you stop them at that 5th time or that 6th time, even with the strong correction, I still say that they have something embedded in them that they haven't fulfilled yet. So redirection a million times, and that dog meter is at 999, you will get through to that dog that they're going to be unsuccessful. But I feel like that a lot of dogs haven't been able to express that meter, and that's in any segment, any section in their brain, any compartment that you can ever think about. They have a meter for it. They have a certain tolerance that they have to get to, in order for them to really understand what's being redirected or what's being asked of them, I would say.
Yeah. Well, and by watching dogs, man, by going in and correcting too soon, you're showing to that dog that you're unstable. Does that make sense, dude? You're hilarious, bro. I got a shout out to my buddy Michael too. What's up, Michael? I was wondering if you guys knew each other. If you
Yeah,
guys,
he here in Little Rock, man.
yeah.
We
So,
gonna connect real soon.
dude, when I come down there, we're all going to connect. All three of us.
Yeah,
We'll
bro.
do something. We'll do a project or something. But does that make sense, man? Like if you go in and correct a dog too soon, you're unstable to that animal. He's
That's
like,
funny, bro.
what the hell's wrong with you, dude? Like you've just overreacted to this, you know? And they're just like, man, where I watch other dogs and another dog is bothering another dog, guess what that other dog does? He just walks away.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And he might, I mean, if the dog follows him, then that dog turns around, might give him a little look, or that dog will go, "Arr," you know. But I also realize that with some of my unstable dogs, that they just fly out that handle right away, you know. And so I'm just trying to think about how dogs will communicate with each other. And the more that you are calm and able to redirect this animal, the more that that animal is going to trust you, and especially would trust you when things get a little bit more hairy, or you encounter, you know, situations where that dog has never experienced either a contraption or whatever that you're going to encounter as you start to take that dog in the world. If that dog thinks that you're unstable, as soon as you encounter something that that dog doesn't like, he's going to shut down even more, because not only does the dog not like this, but he's with somebody that's unstable on top of it.
Yep, and that goes back to the dog cannot predict your behavior in the negative. Now, sometimes in training, and I know with your background, sometimes in training you don't want to be as predictable, which strengthens that dog, the dopamine effect. But when it comes to the negative and them really trying to pinpoint what can dictate their survival, being what was the word you said, unpredictable, or being unstable. Yeah,
Unstable. Yeah.
yeah, that dog can hyper focus on
Instability, you know.
the shortness of the stability that you may have as a human being.
Yeah, and they want stable ground, dude. They want to understand, especially when it's interspecies or cross species communication. They want to understand the species that isn't them, that is not going, that they're going to be able to be comfortable and be able to survive, you know, with you, you know, just like that survival and comfort. But to me, that's what it means, man. Is like, look, and on the flip side too, like we don't want to provide too much comfort or be a pushover, right? Or allow, right? And
Yeah.
so that's where I see with, you know, because then you become a sucker to that dog, right? Where they can take advantage, and they need a strong, consistent, and to me that's redirection, right? Is consistency. Do this instead, do this instead. But it also speaks to the love aspect of like, look, I'm going to stick with you until you get this. I'm going to be with you. And it's just like, that's a nurturing aspect that should be apparent with human beings. Is, you know, I don't have children, but I've had my nieces and nephews that live with me for a while, and I realized that there is value in consistency. There is value in maintaining a certain protocol of calmness, especially as the man of the household, to teach these kids life lessons that they can draw back on when they're not with me. And it's the same thing with these dogs. It's like, look, we're teaching them how to exist in this human world, and they're going to do things that are going to be counter to the things that we do because they're a different species. But the more that we stick with them, and the more that we are insistent on what the way that they behave, and to redirect them into that behavior, I think that's just going to build more trust and more clarity that they belong with us. Does that make sense? Like it, and it's just like my mom would say, is like, if I didn't care I'd let you run around with all those crazy but because I love you, I'm going to get on you, and but it's also the aspect of like, you can't be too strict, man. My One of my friends in a men's group talked about how strict parents create sneaky children.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the same with dogs, dude. Like strict ass, they connect, they create sneaky dogs. And I've seen it with my dogs, dude. When I was when I was strict, I saw aspects that as I learn and do these live streams and continue ongoing education with different dog trainers and just seeing how to do it better, I change myself. And I'm sorry for the times that I've made mistakes with the dogs that I've had in the past. But I remember when I was in the mirror, and I watched a dog in the mirror sneaking behind me, watching me, dude, to go get in the trash or whatever, right? And I was just like, oh man. And I got on him for it in a much harder way than I should have. But I just think about, like, if I were just to stop and redirect and be patient. And that's why I'm happy to hear somebody like you who's young and getting this stuff and putting it out for more people to get, dude.
For sure, man. I got a question for you, man,
Okay.
and I'm gonna tell you. So I got a I got a brother, man. Like God didn't give me no blood brothers, but we all connected in some form of fashion, man. It's a guy named Isaiah John, and me and
Good name.
him, we're studying together. Like we study the mind, we study spirituality, we study all of this together, man. And we're on top of it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I do with a lot of my pastime, man. These dogs are going, in my mind, is going to the next level because I'm learning more about myself. We didn't talk. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, of
So
course.
anyway, so one day he asked me, and this was through me like getting it through him, like, hey man, we got to be on this mental stuff. We got to be on this mental stuff. We got to be on this mental stuff. And one day he asked me, he texted me, he was like, hey bro, he said, how you doing? And before I could reply, he said, how are you doing mentally is what I need to ask you. And I sat there, and before replying, I sat there and I thought about that. And to be honest with you, with a person like myself, I reached, when I did say something to him, I said, man, I believe that that's the most important question to ask somebody that you really fool with, even people that you don't. I mean, people that you really don't know, they might take it the wrong way, but people that you really know, I feel like that's something that should be common enough, and the person should know you enough to know that there's something that's on the inside of everybody that people cannot see, and that you, as someone that cares about them, is interested enough to know, just so we know how to go about our next conversation. And when he asked that, man, that's exactly what I told him. I said, man, to be honest with you, bro, like, that's probably the best question for a person like myself that you can ask me. So as your brother, I ask the same thing, and we can talk about the mind. We can, whatever, however much time we got, man. I love it, bro. I love this stuff, man. And this is what's promoting my next projects as a dog communicator, human educator, is the human mind and how the mind works. Yes, understanding dog's mind through survival and comfort, but yeah, we getting on that next level. So I'm just gonna ask you, as a brother, how have you been advancing mentally within these past few months?
I've been, I've studied the Bible a lot. That's a big aspect of just kind of looking at scripture through a totally different lens. I've been kind of switching it up as far as my own comfort here as somebody that's getting older, right? And just kind of making plans with my wife and just rejoicing in the fact, because my wife was sick for so long, that she had cancer, and we were doing the treatment and stuff, and just being thankful, dude, just being thankful for life, and just taking every day as it comes, and stopping, and I'm started to I work out every day too, man, looking at what I put into my body. I've actually um, thinking that I'm going to start. I have a doctor's appointment on Friday for the testosterone thing, right? And so as you get older, you'll find out that things just change, man. And I've had some motivation issues with just like energy levels and stuff like that. And I'm just like, dude, this ain't me. Like this isn't correct, or this, like, I want to do these things, but it just seems like my energy just kind of puts out a lot sooner. And so I'm looking at just different aspects on how I can improve the function of my body. And but I've also been kind of coming out of the Catholic closet, like the Christian closet, and being proud of loving Jesus and the lessons that he's taught me. And but it's also, I'm doing good, dude. Like, that's the other aspect of this. Like, I feel good with who I am. And I was sick, bro. Like, first time in 20 years, I had to go to the ER of the hospital. Do you know about that?
You told me.
Yeah, I had pneumonia.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was just fine. I thought I was just got back from Costa Rica. We just celebrated my 20th year anniversary with my beautiful wife. And I thought I just caught the flu from the plane because I got the chills, body chills, and I was having a fever, but I didn't have our thermometer broke, or we lost it or something, so I wasn't able to take my temperature. And I didn't realize how sick I was until I got to the hospital. I had 104.5 degree temperature, and my resting heart rate was 130, and my saturation level was 85%. So I was in rough shape. And I don't take drugs. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke weed. I used to smoke a lot of weed. I've just celebrated a year of not smoking any weed or being completely sober, dude. It's just who I am. And I'm proud of that. But I also, when I went to the hospital, they gave me all these drugs, dude, and it just made me feel like I wanted to crawl out of my skin.
Mm-hmm.
But it gave, and then I got checked into the hospital for 3 days, and it made me realize, dude, I'm sicker than I thought I was. And that was a trip, just to see. And it took me about 6 weeks to really get over that. And so to a point now that I'm working out and starting to feel better, even though the energy level is a little bit down. But, overall I'm doing good, but there's certain things that happen as you grow older that change. And what's crazy, dude, is that, I remember back when I was your age. I remember I was just married a couple years when I was 29 years old. I bought my house when I was 30 years old, my property that I'm in now. And I was proud, and I was a go-getter, man. And the thing is that I just grow older, but there's certain desires, there's wants and desires that you have that will never change. Same with me. I can assume that it's like that with everybody, because it is like that with me. And so the crazy thing is, man, is that you go look in the mirror and you see like the gray and the stuff that starts showing up, and it just becomes, in some ways, is exciting, because I am getting through this life and I'm growing old and growing in the lessons that I've learned. But there's also aspects of like, dude, you start to not care what other people think. You start to really, really want to make a reality, something that you see as valuable in this life. And to me, that's time with my wife, time with my dogs. I got too many dogs. I got 7 dogs, 7.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting my the rest of my dogs altered and spayed, and I was breeding dogs for a while, so I'm not doing that anymore. And on Friday, I have the last 2 boys going to get neutered. And so I'm just kind of cleaning up and just making sure that I don't get into a situation. Lesson learned. And if anybody else can learn lessons from me, then I'm thankful for that. I call that borrowing scars, right?
I know, right?
But also learning, I love Michael and Bart Bellin. I love Fred Hassan. There's so many people, Greg Van Kuren from eCollar Technologies. And I mean, so many people, wonderful people like you, my buddy Calvin. And I just feel blessed that I have such a network of wonderful friends that I can speak with. And my goal is to become more of this content creator stuff, to make more money doing this, to position myself and to figure out how to make this more of a success, where I didn't really care about the audience. I didn't really care about making money. And so now I'm learning the Final Cut Pro, which is a software program. And then I'm also just kind of taking lessons on how to gain more followers and how to make this a little bit more popular. That's why I'm doing these every week now. And then with my Final Cut Pro, I'll be able to chop this stuff up and repurpose it. I know it's a long answer to your question.
Nah, bro, that's what it's meant for.
Yeah.
What people, I could ask you a surface question. I could ask you a physical question, and you can give me an answer, and it'd be it.
Like, how'd I get so good looking? I was just born this way.
And
that's it. Since birth. It's like, hello, brother. That guy, what's his name? Do you know who I'm talking about? Dude, you don't know? Hello, what's up, brother? The live streamer, Sketch. Is it Sketch? Yeah, it makes me laugh. But he's like, since birth. But yeah, man, it's all about progressing forward. I'm saving up the money for this laptop. I've been catching up on all my taxes and everything, and just get my business all dialed in, learning from Michael and Bart. And it's so cool to have mentors, dude. And let me show you. So they have a new collar, the Chameleon, right? You have some Chameleons, but they have a Chameleon 4 and a CTT 4 and the new technology that's involved. But check out the case that it comes in now. Oops.
That's all right. Nice.
Yeah, so I'll be doing an live unboxing for my Patreon crew on Thursday. I'll be launching that with that, and I'm doing.
I really like their collars, man.
I mean, and it's just going to get better, dude. They're an inspiration, Michael and Bart Bellin, just because of how they're constantly innovating. How not just are they innovating, but they're also innovating in a way that is benefiting the relationship and the communication, the comfort that you can provide your dog. We have like temperature readings, we have contact measurements, we have, the stimulus that is patented. And so when the collar gets wet, you don't have to worry about that dog getting involuntary overstim from that e-collar. Other things that I like too are when I had Dr. Robbie Iyer, I did a live stream with, and he's the inventor of this stuff, man. It's Atlas. I don't know if you know this. Mm-hmm. And I'm giving this to my dogs. It's a supplement that you give to your dogs. It's all Ayurvedic, so it's all natural. Smells really good. And when I got sick, he was like, they also have this stuff for the human, Zeus. And same thing, dude. Same thing that you give your dog, you're taking it as a human being. And I will. Or I'll put up a link too. But Active Power is what his website is, and it's really good, man. Activepower.com. Actually, let me pull it up here.
You know what's crazy, man? You bring up Bart and Michael, and I'm gonna tell you, like, where I'm from, like, it's in my book, like, it's, like the strays and stuff like that. I can see things from a mile away and be able to dissect it. And I think that I reached out to Michael one day, and I just like appreciated her. I never went through none of the programs or nothing like that, but just seeing, like, as in life in general, and like seeing certain things that people are doing, and like the effect that they have on people, and like the things that they've been able to create, come up with, and stuff like that, man. I gave both of them. I haven't talked to Bart, but I gave both of them their flowers, man. Like, they're a big inspiration. And for me as an educator and as an inventor,
Uh-oh. I think his phone died or something. We'll wait for Calvin to come back. But check this out, you guys. So this is the active power. And shop, they have it for dogs, for humans, and for horses. Oh, there we are. Looks like he's coming back. He's
that's
back. Whoops, there you
there
are.
you go. Yeah, somebody tried to call me.
How dare them?
Yeah, but yeah, man. What I was saying is just just how my life is going, and the things that pops up in my head, and like seeing like examples of that, and being able to see those type of examples. It's a lady named Heather. She created like a leash.
Heather
You know,
Beck.
yeah, Heather Beck. She's
Yep.
a big inspiration as well when it comes to like the inventor slash trainer.
Yep.
Like, it's a lot more people that I can bring up, but I remember like reaching out to Michael and just like I can really appreciate certain things from a distance, and I'm glad that you had brought them up, because man, like sometimes it's good to know that you're not the only person that thinks a certain type of way.
Yeah. Well, and people, they don't realize how valuable Michael is. I think that they think Bart, but Michael, man, she has just a way with pet dogs and a way with the business, and they're building this online school that's going to be launched in here. We have access to it as a gold multiplicator. I've been checking it out, man, and it's good. It's really good, dude. Like, you should do the online school. Napopo should be launched here shortly. But just the sweat, blood, and tears that have gone into this, I'm sure, right? And the people that just don't value the work that they've done. And so shout out to the Bellins, Michael and Bart. Um, Shout out to so many people, dude. So many people, and you can tell that this is their passion, right? Because this is the same thing with me. Like, I'm passionate about this. Why I do. I can work with dogs every single day, and then I go on my vacation and I take my dogs and play with them, you know. And sometimes I go on vacation where I leave dogs at home, but I mean, it's something that we can do all day long, man. It's a dream come true for us, and it's good to realize that other people have contributed to this dream and the world that is built that allows us um, to make our dream better and to communicate with these dogs on a more effective level. Um, let me talk about this real quick too. And Dylan just reminded me of my refill. What's up, Dylan? And the cool thing about this stuff is, man, is that they not only do they have the atlas like I have here, but if you do where you sign it up, you get a little bit of a discount too, from $55. So you can sign up for a subscribe and get $5 off. But this stuff's amazing, man, and especially for older dogs. It's got 5-in-1 formula. It's got, green lip muscle powder, sea cucumber powder, methyl sulfon, MSM, creatine, absorbic acid, and my dogs, dude, they love it. And I have little dogs. Larry Crone talks about this stuff with his dogs, and especially for your older dogs, this is something that I highly, highly recommend. And then it also has these bad boys. Check this out. Larry Crone just put up a picture with his dog with the Octoband set. Have you seen these, Calvin? Let me show you these, buddy. These are really cool. I have a set of these. I have a little fanny pack with my little active power fanny pack here, but these things are really cool, man, especially for dogs with gait issues, or if you want your dogs that are performance based. And so this is what they look like, and then you open these up, And the dog doesn't wear this all the time. The dog wears these under supervision, and it has a little pocket here, and then you put coins in there, and it's like a weight set up for dog resistant strength training bands. And so rehabbing dogs, and it gets their gait really good, man. It says the soft, flexible comfort, apply isometric and isotonic resistance to the muscles. And it's just those little muscles that it starts to build that people don't think about. When they throw the fet or throw the ball for them, or having them do all this stuff where they're jumping over, that's building the big muscles, but it also, this stuff helps with those muscles that you don't really think about. And then they have different sizes too. What's that?
Active Power.
ActivePower.com. I'll put up a link in the there. Let me see. I got another size right here. Yep. So bigger size even. So we got big, small, and then even smaller. And then they have, so you can use these. And then right here, they also have this. So they have these rubs too, man. And then they have this. Chew toy. They have this.
You have to send me the link because I can't find it.
Oh, I'll put up in the comment. I'll send it to you too on Messenger, and reach out to Robbie too. He's in Virginia.
We actually talked. We talked. I would say probably about a year ago. Yeah, he's not in the sport anymore. He was in IGP, but he got burned out on it. And not only that, but he owns his own practice. So. And you can get your whole kit. So like the bag that I have, everything right here. And it comes with a massager, and it comes with one of these bad boys where if your dog has sore muscles or joints, you put this on their skin. And just like for the dogs and the horses, they also have a human line. And my wife has rheumatoid arthritis. And she loves this stuff, dude. Like this is like the iRub is like Tiger Balm. But my wife loves it. She loves it. She uses it all the time. And that by itself is a testimony that we use this stuff. We love it. We use it. I use it on my dogs. And so if I use it, I recommend it. And I don't recommend crap. And while I'm making recommendations, let me find one of those doggy raids. Have you seen the doggy raids? Man, no.
It's like Gatorade for dogs.
Hold
on. Oh, here's a little flyer for it. Doggy Raid. Right, and so it's a prebiotic isotonic drink with electrolytes. Let me open up one of these cases. Hold on, I'll be right back. Because we got it like my hair.
The halftime show.
They have them in these cases, man. Well, so here's a full case. Doggy Raid. Let me open up one so you can see what they look like here. And my dogs love it, bro. So it comes in 10 pack, right? And so this stuff you can utilize as a reward as well. So you don't have to just do treats, but you, especially down south where it gets nice and hot. And it comes in these little packages. Canine hydration, prebiotics, and probiotics. And then once you open it up and you give it to the dog, and I give this by itself, and you can actually just have the dog lick it out of this bad boy. And it smells like beef broth. But my dogs, dude, you can give it a reward just like this. So the dog comes up. Yaya. Oh, Yaya just came running. Come here. Come here. Good girl. Let me see you. So I can hold it just like this. Yeah. And then I can reward her with liquid, right? Let me pull it up here. Whoop, there you go. So there it goes. So you can just kind of give them a little reward. Doesn't have to be a treat, or you can put it on their food. Oh, shit. Should have pulled off my headphones. But dude, it's so good. Doggyraid.com or doggyraid.us, I think is what it is. So doing all these product placements.
Send me that too.
Okay. Yeah, that's my buddy Jerome doing that company. But yeah, let me make sure I have links for this. Active Power. And then even though I'm not getting paid to promote these stuff, but I've been given some free products to try out for myself and my dog. So there's the Active Power. Let me message you too over here. And then you have a product too, bro. Do you have any of your collars with you?
Oh, let me see.
And then I think that's pretty cool, man. It's just I remember you talking about this, and look at that. So what is this here?
It's so it's an Agitouch. So it's a control handle for a dog collar or a harness. So besides having the big bulky handle on the collar, if you want to use the collar like as just a home collar or everyday collar, you can always attach a handle to it. And there's still some harnesses out there that don't have handles. They just have the connector for the leash or like some type of back tie mechanism. I just made it to where you can basically attach it anywhere. So this month, man, like I'm probably gonna do a TikTok shop first, and then I'm gonna go off into the website. I'm not gonna do the website until I get the flow of things. So yeah, man, it's something that's interesting, man. It's something that's interesting. It's something that I had this idea a long time ago. I just didn't ever have the finances or resources to really bring it to life. And then as I started, just going in my career and, thinking about, certain things and what is my position in the dog industry, these things have been weighing heavy on me. I actually made a status not too long ago, like 2024 is going to be filled with accomplished projects.
Okay.
And it's just how my brain works, man. So yeah, it's on its way. It's coming this month for sure. We got enough of them to sell. So it's beautiful, man.
Well, I'm proud
Something
of
that
you.
was in the mind now in the physical world, bro. This stuff crazy.
Well, it's just like the outer world and the inner world of the dog, man. We have an outer world and inner world of us, and we have to get decided because everything from the car that you're sitting in to the Apple Pen to the curtain, everything began right in here first.
Yeah, it was an idea, man. It was an idea.
Right.
Yeah.
You take action to make it happen. And sometimes the universe will throw little hurdles your way to make sure that you want this bad enough, man. And you just keep it up. Keep your eye on the big prize. And I know you can do it, dude.
I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, I look forward to coming down there and kicking it with you. And just seeing.
Trust me, it's gonna be soon, man. Because once we have our grand opening,
I'm coming down.
Man, I'm telling you, bro.
Well, I want to do.
Your mind gonna be blown, bro. You gonna be like, Calvin, man. You just talk about stuff like watch, man. I'm so excited for it. Oh man, so it's coming real soon.
So I need to fly into Little Rock, right?
Yeah.
Arkansas. Okay. Arkansas. All right, brother. Well, anything else you want to mention? I think that's. I mean, I'm sure that I'll think of something when we go off. But it's good to catch up with you, and it's something, dude. I'm gonna actually we'll do another one of these for my Patreon here in a few days. We'll do some exclusive content for them, and maybe do some think about some secrets or something that we'll talk more about the mind and how to get your mind right and some of the stuff that you've learned from some of the heavy hitters in the mind world,
When I tell you, bro, man, like I'm about to be done with it. But when I tell you, man, like this is like my, so I would say that dog everything is my gift. That's what that's what I came here for. And this was like the backpack that I had with all of the stuff in it, like all of my presents. Like this dog training was my gift. My passion is in human potential and paradigm shifting. So like I have a passion for like the dog training industry, but I think I heard like Steve Harvey break it down. Like your gift is something that you was born with. Your passion is something that you just intrigued with to like figure out and like 9 times out of 10, your passion is gonna have the keys to a lot of things that you want to be successful for in life, and it also helps you with your gift. So I will say, man, like Bob Proctor, I went through his school, man, like all of that, bro. Like even Joe Dispenza, I study him. I study Bruce Lipton. I study Neville Goddard. I study a lot of guys, man, that I can name, but it's so many of them. You know, you don't want to discredit anybody by not saying it, but bro, please let's get up on that, man, because that's where I'm at in my life, and that's where I'm going for the rest of my life. So yeah, it's hard to not have answers to things, but when you start to realize that things have answers to them, you just got to learn the questions to ask, man. So man, most definitely, let's most definitely talk about that.
Cool.
Patreon, bro.
Well, and what we'll do too is that I have so many things to say about passion, how to find your passion, and why it's important to find your passion. And so we'll do that, man. I'll let my Patreon followers know, and if you're interested, you can follow me for as little as $5 a month. The link is in the comments, and it's very helpful to me. You know, if you guys support me on the Patreon, I'm almost at the I just have about $2,000 for my $4,000 laptop. I can't believe I'm spending so much money, but it's also I'm getting some software, and then and I'm looking at buying another one of these bad boys, one of these Shure SMD 5 or 7D microphones, and then taking this microphone with me on the road as well. And then with some preamps and stuff like that for the audio equipment. And then I want to do where we have 3 cameras, where we have the camera of the room and then 1 camera for each of the speakers. So it's going to be a little bit more advanced and a little bit more involved. And I might need a producer to go with me as well to this stuff. But I mean, it's a one-man show right now, what I'm doing, but I want to make it bigger, better, and I will. I mean, that's how it starts, dude, in the mind. So let's talk about that, what the future holds, and I'm excited for it, my brother.
Let's do that soon, man. I'm dead serious, bro. However soon you trying to do it, let's do it soon.
Okay, it'll probably be in the next couple weeks.
All right, bet.
Sure. I'll be going to Missouri next week to pick up my RV, driving it back, and I just got a ton of dogs that I'm working with here, and thankfully, but that's. I love doing these. And next Tuesday we have Mahogany Gamble. The Tuesday after that we're going to have Maggie Christina, and then or Maggie Christine. Let me see. Yeah, Christina, and then we're going to have Pat Stewart and Glenn coming from the Canine Paradigm is on the books as well. So every Tuesday, you guys tune in here. And we'll be doing these live streams available here on Facebook, on live streaming on X, we used to be Twitter, and then YouTube as well. So, Calvin, stay there. Let's say goodbye to everybody. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
All right.
And I'll be right there. Hold on. I'll say goodbye to you in the studio.